Hey everyone, Chris here from Signs of Life. Welcome back, and in today's video we're going to build an ambient track from scratch in about 30 minutes or so. This tutorial should be for all skill levels, but if any of the concepts that we go over here today are too much for you, feel free to just like this video and come back when you're ready. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this. I've got an instance of Serum 2 here, and I'm using some techniques that Dash showed on his channel the other day, which is using a granular source in sort of a randomized fashion to kind of create some new melodies. Really great stuff. So we're gonna use this. Also got a chromatic through wavetable that I'm morphing around. Got some preachers preaching and the noise oscillator over here. And you know, one of the things that I kind of overlooked in the beta was the convolution reverb. It's just so good. I mean, I was like, wow, how did I miss this? You know? So we're gonna use that in our patch here, and we're gonna create something like this and then use this as the basis to build an ambient track from scratch. So if that sounds good to you, please do stay tuned. Thank you for being here. Feel free to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let's go ahead and dive straight into it. Okay, so here we are in Ableton Live 12. The goal with today's video is to build an ambient track from scratch in about 30 minutes or so. So I'm playing in Ableton Live. You can feel free to follow along in your own DAW. I'm gonna be starting with Serum 2, but feel free to use any synthesizer that you do have. I'll be playing in 76 beats per minute, and we're gonna be playing in A minor here today. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Now, first things first, I'm gonna use some of the techniques that Dash was showing on his channel the other day, which I thought could be really great in an ambient context. So you're gonna need a sample. Now there's some default samples you can use from the factory library. However, the sample that I'm gonna use is from my Hydrosynth. I was just holding down one note for like 4 to 8 bars or so. So I'll go ahead and grab that. I'm gonna switch the oscillator A from wavetable to granular, and then I'll go ahead and load up that sample. I recorded it last year. It's from my Soundbox collection. And you can hear that if I just play 3 octave notes, we get the typical granular response that we're used to from the granular engine. Now, before we even get there, let's go ahead and adjust envelope 1 here. I'm gonna add like 4 seconds of decay here, 4 seconds of release, and that's looking good. Okay, lower the sustain down. Okay, excellent. Now we've got our little envelope 1 shape, like a pad, okay? So if you hear this, it just sounds like a nice pad. And that's a really good sound, right? But what we wanna do is we wanna scan across this at our own choosing. So what we're gonna do is instead of the scan knob, we're gonna switch this one shot here to manual mode. Now what that allows us to do, it allows us to move this turns into a position knob right here. And you can see that I can manually scan across that entire sample, right? Which is really great. Love that. Now, of course, that's begging for modulation, so we're gonna use some modulation on that position knob to move across the wavetable. So what we're gonna do is we'll come over to LFO 1 here, we'll switch from normal to sample and hold, we'll leave it on free running, and let's just go ahead and drag this over to the position knob. Now you could either hold Alt here and shift and click it. On a Mac, that's Option, Shift, and click, or you can do it in the matrix over here under the polarity setting, and just make a bipolar modulation. And you can see that now our playhead is moving with this sample and hold on either side of this dot here, which is really great. So that allows us to get some different perspectives on the sample because it's not a straight note. It's like, you know, I did some modulation there, some morphing, and that's really great, okay? But it's still not perfect. Now what we're gonna do here is we're actually gonna right click on the density knob and the length knob. So if you right click on that, you can switch it from grains here to BPM sync, and you can do the same with the length. And now we have control by BPM over this density. And you can hear that now we're getting a little more plucky style sound, right? But that's not all, because you can see it's kind of granulizing in this sort of sine wavy shape right here. We can click on the shape or the window, wave window here, and we can switch a shape from Han, which is like a sine wave, to exponential decay. And now if we lower down the amount here, oh, there we go. Oh, that's really good. You guys might remember this style from, you know, some of those science generative videos, right? Excellent. We can randomize the direction here. Sometimes get some reverse ones. Almost sounds like a microcosm. That's really good. We can randomize the length if you want. We can even randomize the pan for some stereo effect. There we go. Excellent. So that's really good. I mean, I like that because we can adjust the length here, the overall length, even though we have some randomized length there. That really gives us, you know, a sense like, where's that coming from? And it seems randomized, but at the same time controlled. I really like that. Quite cool, right? I'm just holding down 3 notes. You can add some more notes. It almost becomes like a sequence. Gorgeous. All right. Now let's add some effects here to get us going. So we'll add a compressor here. We'll switch to multiband. Give it some attack, some release, some gain here. Up the highs, lower the mids. Now let's add the delay here. We'll make a dotted 8th note delay. Scroll all the way up for the dotted. Up the mix here. Very nice. Love that. Fantastic. Now, like I said in the intro, one of the effects that I really didn't pay enough attention to was the convolution reverb. It's here called Convolve. This is a really great reverb. It's probably one of the best in Serum 2. So we can load up an impulse response here. There's tons in the factory. You can load up your own here if you want. I'm gonna use this in the massive collection. There's Cathedral in the Sky. This one's really good. If you up the attack here, oh yeah, up the mix. My goodness. Fantastic, right? Love it. So that's just really great stuff. I mean, from one single sample of one single note on my Hydrosynth, here we are. Let's add one more reverb just to finish this off. We'll change this from plate to basin, up the size here, up the feedback. This is looking really good. Oh yeah. Love it. Up the mix here. And so that's how we're gonna start. With just one oscillator, some granulization. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Fantastic. All right, let's go ahead and continue. I'm gonna add a sub oscillator here. We'll switch to triangle mode, lower down the octave, lower down the level here so it doesn't get in the way. There we go. Gives us some grounding here. Let's add a second oscillator here. Before we do that, we'll turn on the filter and we'll make sure that oscillator B is going through the filter. Turn on oscillator B. And you can use one of the Serum 2 tables here, even one of those digital wave tables, those are always good. I'm gonna use one of my own from the Chromatic 3 collection. We'll use table number 22. Oh yeah. Very nice, very nice. Now, one of the ways you can make a randomized LFO in Serum 2 is by smoothing them out over here with the smooth knob. So what I'll do is I'll change LFO2 to sample and hold, and then I'm gonna smooth it all the way out and drag it over to the wavetable position here. Make it bipolar again. Again, Shift Alt click makes it bipolar. And now you can see that now we have a random LFO here, just like we would in Pigments now. That's really nice to see. Love that. So again, that's the smooth knob there. Love that. We can use that same LFO on the cutoff, on the filter. Fantastic. And now we'll add some voices of unison here, lower down the detune. Let's go with 3 voices of unison. We'll lower down our poly count to like 4, just so we don't go crazy on the CPU. There we go. Be conscious with your note choices, I love that. Now another thing we could do for our free oscillator, if you will, is we could turn on the noise oscillator here, and I've got some drone samples in here that I recorded yesterday. Let's go ahead and add one of these. Now what's cool is you can right click the pitch knob and enable pitch tracking. And this becomes its own free oscillator, if you will, right? So I'll up it by 24 semitones, and now you can hear, now we have a free oscillator over here. That's from my modular rig. Oh yeah. Awesome. Let's put that through filter 2. We'll put the noise oscillator through filter 2. Come over to Serum 2 filters. Maybe we'll use one of these new cone filters here. Oh yeah, up the resonance. That's wild. Then we'll go to the flange. Let's try one of these flanges actually. There we go. Excellent. Very nice. We can use that same random 2 on the pan itself. Oh, that's really good in stereo because we're only using filter 2 for just this noise oscillator. That's perfect. Let's use it on the cutoff as well. So it moves. I love it. So you can see, like with just some granulization and just utilizing Serum 2 for what we can do now, I mean, we're off to a fantastic start here. I mean, this is really, really good stuff. I love this. So the possibilities, I mean, this is wide open now. I love it. Anyway, let's continue. All right, cool. So I'm pretty much happy with that. I think that's a great start to a pad. We got some motion in the filter here. I'll add some touches of reverb and delay here. And we are off and running. All right, let's go ahead and add a MIDI clip here. We'll make it 16 bars. Very nice, very nice. Switch this to 1 bar and make sure the headphone button is on. I'm gonna hit the right arrow key right here. Very nice. Oh yeah. There it is right there. Excellent. All right, let's go ahead and play this. Fantastic. All right. So, once again, I mean, we didn't even use oscillator 3. I'm sure you could. But with what's available here, just utilizing that granular, those sample and holds, this is going to 4 different destinations here. Matrix is starting to fill up. Love it. All right, now let's ground this with a bass. Now, I just released Chromatic 3, which is just a fantastic addition to the Chromatic series. Highly encourage you guys to go check it out. Link is down below in the description, as always. And, you know, I try to utilize the modal engine for more than just chime sounds or, you know, like bell sounds. So let's go ahead and grab pigments here. I'll grab pigments from the library. And one of the basses that has, you know, the modal engine in it here, opening Chromatic 3, is Spectrum. It's a really good bass with the modal engine. Let's go ahead and hear what this sounds like. Oh yeah. Right, you can hear right away what that bass sound did to the pad. Very nice. So I'm using the low feel sample here. Volume is at max, right? Rate is at max, so it's just continually providing some granular friction here. Oh yeah, a little bit of collision action. No stereo spread. I love this. Let's go ahead and punch those notes in. So again, I mean, Chromatic 3, this is just the beginning. Like, we're gonna go over some more of these presets, but you can see, like, let's downsample this. Oh yeah. Ooh, you know what this one has? It has a pulse macro. Listen to this. Oh, very nice. So you can get some really cool tones out of this, right? You know what'd be cool? Let's punch in this bass note right here, and we'll add some delay to this. I love it. All right, let's go 4 notes here. So the first note is A, okay? And we'll go F and D1, there we go. All right, let's play this. Here we go, 5, 6, 7, 8. Excellent, now let's add some delay here. This is a dotted 8th note dual delay. Touch of reverb here. Oh, there we go, you hear that? Oh, that's great. Yes, I love it. You can even modulate this downsample in the DAW. We add some FM for some extra grit. I love that though. Oh my gosh, that touch of delay when it clicks over. I don't usually use bass on, delay on a bass, but when I do, oh, I love this. All right, let's go ahead and name these tracks. This is our Serum 2 pad. This is Spectrum. Nice. Okay, so what comes next? Well, let's go ahead and grab Pigment again. Let's continue exploring Chromatic 3 here. There's a lot of great presets. Like I said, 50 presets here, and there's so much to explore. Got basses here, leads, tons of pads. I really went hard on the soundscapes again. Let's listen to this soundscape called Industrial Complex. That might really fit here, okay? Industrial Complex. I'm gonna pause the track so we can listen to this. Listen to this is Industrial Complex. Does that not sound like the warehouse? Fantastic, right? Oh yeah. This is how your track could open. I love it. Custom wavetable here. Artifacts macro. Oh, that's so good. That is so good. I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh. Wow. So like I said, even if you don't know much about synthesis, like you're just starting out on your journey, like Chromatic can do it for you. And then you could reverse engineer this preset yourself. Oh my gosh. I love it. I love it. All right, let's go ahead and add this here. Fan-freaking-tastic, dude. Let's add an 8-bar MIDI clip here. Switch it to 1 bar. Add this note over here. There we go. This is supposed to be this note up here. There we go. Here we go. There it is. Very nice, very nice. Add some more reverb, add a little delay. All right, now I'm already hearing a sequence here. I don't know about you guys, but I'm feeling one. Because with just 3 presets, I mean, the mood is already set. Like we started with that granular sample, then we added the bass, added some delay on that bass. Now we added even more depth and immersion with that soundscape. Now, one of the things that you always see, producers like me or Martin or Cameron or even Dash doing is we're using our intuition to guide us what the next step in the track would be. Intuition, inner knowing about what to do in any given moment, right? And I think that's really important because, when I was first starting out learning how to produce, I just used presets and that was totally fine. But then I started wondering okay, how are other producers doing this? And it feels like they're doing it so naturally, whereas I struggle to kind of get the sound that I want. And the more I practiced and the more I sort of refined my process, the more I actually found that that's the best way to do it, is to use your mind and start with an initialized patch and then see where it can go from there. Because you watch me work and it's like, oh, before you know it, I've got something together. How does that magic happen? Intuition. right, let's continue. Let me show you how to do this. So let's go ahead and name this. This is the industrial complex. Cool. And we'll grab Stepic here. Let's grab Stepic right away. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna punch in my sequence before I even create the patch, because I feel like I know what I wanna hear. And if I know what I wanna hear, then I can just go ahead and translate that, all right? Let's make sure we're on the right note here. We're gonna go to, let's go to A3, minor, perfect. We'll go with a D note here, an E note, and maybe an F note over here. One note of octave. We'll randomize the entire velocity lane here. Okay. That's looking good. Okay. So an A, two A's, a D, an E, and an F here. And that's it. Right? Very simple. Very straightforward. Okay. I like that. And maybe even like we'll skip one. And then we'll put this on random direction here. So we might get, sometimes we'll get a skip. That's cool. All right, great. Let's go ahead and turn off Stepic. Let's grab pigments here. And what I'll do is I'm going to just design a pluck, all right? Now, plucks don't have to be that complicated. They really don't, okay? You've seen me design a pluck on this channel before where it's just like, just start with a wavetable, you know, lower the sustain out of it, add some decay here, maybe a second of decay. Take this envelope and move it to the filter. Very important. So drag envelope 2 over to the filter. There we go. Add some resonance. Very nice. Add an LFO here. We'll put the retrig source on free running. We'll switch the rate to straight only. 4/1. Drag this over to the cutoff. Okay. I like to make it unipolar here so I can see exactly what's going on. So you see we have a unipolar LFO now. I switched the polarity from positive negative to positive. That's always good. And we have just a straight sine wave here, all right? Let's move through the basic waves and see what we can see here. I like to put it in 2D view. I'll move through the position. That's cool. I'm looking for something a little more like interesting. Let's go analog. What do we got here? Analog comb. That might be cool. Compressed sine. Ooh, that might be interesting. Yeah, let's go with that. Compressed sine. Okay. And we'll use that LFO to kind of move us through the compressed sine. That could work. I like that. Okay, cool. And so this envelope is going to be constantly pinging this right here. All right. And that's looking good. And we'll put a straight sine wave over here. So we'll switch it from sample to wavetable. And actually, no, we'll go straight sawtooth. That's good. It's also going through the filter. Very nice. Okay, so we have a compressed sine, a sawtooth, all going through filter 1. We're good. Now let's go ahead and add velocity to the filter. All right. And yeah, that's cool. All right, great. Now, let's go ahead and add a compressor here. We'll go ahead and reset the effects. I'm gonna add a compressor here, multi-band compressor. Shorten the attack, shorten the release, up the output, and change these high frequencies. There we go. And, you know, to make it very clear to you, I'm gonna use just standard pigments effects. I won't use my regular effects here, all right? So we'll put this random, let's use a random modulator here. I'm gonna put on random. We're gonna make it unipolar and smooth it all the way out, just like I did in Serum 2. You see that? So now we have a straight, you know, random LFO, okay? And we'll use that on the downsample amount, okay? So now we're getting a unipolar, random, downsample amount. That's cool. It's gonna give us some nice crunchiness here. And on effects B, I'll go ahead and add a delay here, okay? And we'll make it ping pong, up the feedback, lower the stereo spread, up the dry wet up here, there we go. And we'll add a reverb here, and we'll up the decay, up the size, lower the pre-delay out. That's looking good, lower the stereo width down. Perfect, and add a final touch of shimmer here, doing the same thing, lower the stereo width, up in the sides, up the feedback, and we'll lower the dry wet to around 10%. Okay, so there we go. Let's go ahead and hear what this sounds like by activating Stepic. Oh yeah. Very nice, very nice. Could add a little bit more delay here. Fantastic. So you can see that compressed sine is modulating here. Got our sawtooth here going off. Sometimes we're gonna get a high note coming out there. Add a little bit more delay here. Oh my gosh. We can even add like a sub oscillator. There we go. Love it. Excellent. So, you see, like, it's just these simple moves, right? It's these moves that I do time and time again, but that's what creates that intuition. That's what creates that inner knowing, right? Like what to do in the given moment. What's the right move here? Trying new things, developing a system, and then learning how to say to yourself, okay, I just want this very simple sound. How do I translate that with the tools that I have? That's what this channel is all about. We're constantly going over the same motions again, so you guys can drill it in your heads, like, I can make this kind of music. It's possible for me. Anything is possible, really, but with this, I got your back. All right, cool. Sounding good, all right? So now we have 4 tracks here, starting with our Serum 2 pad, okay? Love that, gotta save that one. We got our Spectrum bass here, Industrial Complex, our brand new pluck that we made, you know? What's left? You know, when you hear me do these crazy, you know, concerts and stuff on this channel, like, what's left here? Well, of course, I'd be performing live, right? We'll do like a lead sound. Why not? Let's go back to Chromatic 3 for that. I'm gonna grab it here. From Pigments, there's a lot of great sounds here in Chromatic 3. Gotta love it. Go to Sound Banks, lead right here. Above ground, geometric skies, inner standing, soaring, and static season, all right? I like to pick them at random. Let's go with inner standing. It's kind of the theme of the day here, right? It's got the harmonic engine. Oh yeah. I used this one on the last performance series that I just did. Oh, it's very Vangelis, isn't it? I love it, I love it. Switch that to the synth bus, very nice. Add a little bit more reverb. Oh my goodness. So it's that little touch of the lead that's really gelling this entire thing together. And I'm just playing this live. As you can see here, we got 4 different macros, one even for movement. What's that doing? Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. That is fantastic. You know what I'm saying? So that's moving some of these harmonics around. You can see there's some more movement here in the harmonics. Add some artifacts here. Starts to break up at the higher end. Oh, let's go up an octave. Love it, love it. Simple wavetable stuff, rounded saw here, just like we did in the pluck. Let's go ahead and record this. Let's record it live, why not? Here we go, ready? Yes. There we go. So, like I said, it's just that subtle touch of the lead, inner standing coming through. Just a timbre here for a little bit more of that high end. Oh my goodness. Wow. So I think the lesson here really is it's greater than the sum of its parts, right? Because that feeling that you get, like, wow, here's this pad that we started with, and the end result is not even close to what we started with, but it's so much more than that. And that's really the power that you have as an ambient music producer. So I highly encourage you guys to get out there, try this stuff, do it for real, you know, and like, anything can happen. The sky's the limit now. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to let me know in the comments down below. Like I said, Chromatic 3 is available right now. You can go grab it on Material. It's only 12 bucks, 50 presets. I even give you 30 wavetables to go with it. It's a fantastic deal, and yeah, I'm excited. There's a lot of possibilities coming up in the future, so stay tuned on this channel. I'll have more for you guys very soon. In the meantime, take good care, you guys. And as always, keep your heads in the clouds and your feet planted firmly on the ground. I'm Chris from Signs of Life, and we'll see you guys in the next video.